All right, Terry.
Yes, John.
Do you approve of my purchases?
These are absolutely splendid. Look at these. And
You doing the hand model thing? Beautiful. Beautiful.
unlike our F-350 that first arrived, they are facing the same correct direction.
And some of them don't, right?
Well, oops.
Those are upside down over there, but
that's all right. You know what? At least what we can see are in the right direction.
Okay, good.
Always in this direction. Thank you very much. The other direction is the highway us. Oops.
yeah, we don't talk blue here, right?
That is
We
correct.
just talk orange.
And the only blue that you want to see is on my shirt, because it is Finicky Fox in
Pretty
Los
sick.
Angeles, California. All right, Mel Lugo, where are you? Thank you very much.
You are propping and representing. Nice job,
That's
Terry.
right.
Thank
We
you,
love
Terry.
Mel. We love Abe. Thank you, guys.
You
Have
got
a
it.
great day.
Hello, everybody. This is a Lamley Showcase Part 3 of my focus on Matchbox 8-dot wheels. It's not necessarily about the wheel, although I'm a big fan of the wheel, but it's about the cross-section of models that came out while this was the predominant wheel used by Matchbox. It's actually, all considering vintage toys, it's actually a pretty good design for cars that could be like, say, race cars like this, or road cars like this, or a bunch of other stuff. It's just a cool wheel, and more importantly, and why I'm collecting these cars, is it's such a cool cross-section of cars from the 80s and 90s, which are so popular now. The more we see like what's happening in car culture and with other premium brands, you're seeing cars from this era getting tons and tons of play. And little did we know, Matchbox was doing it for a long, long time. So part 1 was me looking for cars at the Matchbox Gathering Convention. Part 2 was my discussion with Jason Meeker all about the history of these models. He showed some true rarities like that Celica Supra, which is fantastic. Part 3 is just me building the collection. I have shown these cars in the background of every one of these videos, and I know you're sick and tired of them, so we're going to change it because I have a ton of cars to go through. So many so that I don't want to make this an 8-hour video, so we'll see. I might have to cut it off and make a part 4. We'll see how we go. So, when I was at the convention, I was looking for anything with 8 dots on it and deciding if I wanted the car or not. That was usually the focus. There's no really, I don't want every 8 dot by any means, but I was just looking. So, I was searching at the convention. I've also been doing a lot of hunting on eBay. Maybe you've seen me floating around a bit looking for cars, and I've bought a few. Let's start with some of the cars I got from the convention. I went heavy on loose cars. In fact, I went really crazy in one room. Level M Diecast. I'll put a link down to his Instagram. He might have a channel too. Level M Diecast, I was in there. He had a fresh collection of cars that I guess there was a ton there that already sold, but I found a good number of 8 dots. I don't remember if I got all these from the same room, but I'm going to show you some of the loose cars I got, and then some of the boxed cars I got. In fact, we can start with the boxed cars. You saw me actually, I can spend just a little bit of time. I'm going to adjust the camera. There we go. I spent a little bit of time, already showed these, but this is what the Matchbox box looks like. And I do remember as a kid actually being in hobby stores or toy stores and seeing like a glass case, and these were all stacked, and you just, all you could do was look at the name and you would tell the person behind the counter, can I look at that car? And they would hand it to you, and you would open it up, and I don't think there was any baggie. I think they were just in boxes, and this is what they look like. So this is the Dodge Daytona Turbo Z 1984 Dodge Daytona. I'll try and show you the base as we go, and then I can put them on the turntable. This one has an opening hood. Matchbox made no differentiation with these models. They're all about $1 for opening hoods. They made no differentiation for metal chassis versus plastic chassis. That was just, they didn't have to be as specific. Now, it really does come down to fraction of cents, and that's where you're never going to see a metal chassis on a car, with very, very rare exceptions, at least on a basic model. So this is the Dodge Daytona. And again, I'm not going to, I don't really want to speak to just all of the, you know, what I like and don't like about these. I mean, it's a vintage car, so they're made differently, they're designed differently. They usually sit wider than what we're used to from cars today, but they're very nice. And I think, you know, I'm not trying to sell you on these, and there's plenty of collectors, and I would imagine there's going to be a lot of collectors that are just, you know, enjoying looking at these because they've had these in the past. There'll be a nostalgic vibe to these, but I think some of you are probably going to gain appreciation for them too. Now, one thing too I'll know is, well, let's just, as we go, I'm just going to add these to the case that's up there, and then we'll keep going. I promise. I get to use the same background so much. I know. Ford Thunderbird. These are cars that I'm familiar with on the road. See, this one actually has a plastic piece for the headlights and for the taillights. No opening parts on this one. Metal chassis as well. What's the name of this one? T-Bird Turbo Coupe. And yeah, metal chassis, then a plastic piece on its own, a gray interior. There's kind of the new part with basics. It's today is windows, body, chassis, interior, wheels, right? This one clearly has more than that with the red tinted taillights. The headlights might be part of the window, I'm not sure. Then a metal chassis, a separate interior, a separate plastic piece to show the brake in the deco of the car. So yeah, there's a quality to these too. I still think that models today are better just because there's more they can work with in creating kind of a very crisp looking model. But yeah, there's some quality about these models that you don't get today for sure. Here's the Nissan Prairie. If you remember, Jason Meeker talked about the blue and silver version that he's had that he really, really liked. This is a unique model. These are the kind of models that, we talked about these, that is so, like, I think for decades, people have wanted to see this from Matchbox. It's just cars that maybe you wouldn't expect to see in die-cast form, and Matchbox still does that today. The Mercury Sable wagon, which we'll get to, is one of those. This Nissan Prairie is another one. The two-tone that he had, I've actually seen. You can actually get on eBay. I haven't thought about it. I might just, if I come across one in person, I might buy it. But this one with the Nissan logo on the side, I'm pretty happy with, and a definitely easy addition to the collection. All right, keeping going. More things I got from Level M. Here's another one. Jason talked about the red versus the red Lamborghini that was rare that he's got, the Diablo. This is the yellow version, which is just a standard basic model, has an opening part. Matchbox has actually redone this model, and it's based on these specs from this. I mean, there's differences, of course, but it's based on this casting is the one that they've put out now. This one has the engine in the back, so it has the opening part. Oh, metal seems a little, it feels old here. One thing, I'll put this down, you can see with this car, move that dust here, it's the shocks. Well, there's probably models that are better than this, but they all have them. And this is, I think there's like a little metal plate in there. You can take them apart to see it. But all of them have this certain bounce to them. And it's something that, I know that there's other brands that do these, but this is so, when I think of these, the suspension, I think of classic Matchbox for sure. Here, I can show you. Let's see what's the next one that will do. Should we do the, what is this? This is the Pontiac Fiero, Racing Fiero. Yeah, you can kind of see that here, but let's put it on the turntable. So this one is cool because this is, this is a car that if you saw a Fiero, Hot Wheels has done the Fiero. If you saw Hot Wheels come out with this Racing Fiero, it's clearly in the casting, it's built as a race car. I think people would really dig this as a creative choice. But if you look at it from Matchbox, there it is. It's a cool, I don't think I'd be as excited if it were just the standard Fiero. I actually like this one better with the modifications as a race car. It just looks better. It actually has a real nice stance to it, and kind of nice. It has very retro toy styling in the deco, but I think it's pretty cool. Let's keep going. Another race car. How about this one? Porsche. Yeah, a little rough compared to the others. This is compared to the ones we're seeing now. This is the Porsche 935. The Porsche 935s that we're seeing now by Hot Wheels, and our friend Rod Chong has his coming out in Boulevard next year. I actually saw an early view of that one. Yeah, it's a little bit better casting, but this one has, again, it is kind of funny. Lamborghini, I've already said it. Just 90s and 80s eras. Here's a classic race car with the 8-dot wheels on it. Team Porsche, Pirelli logo, Elf logo. Kind of like that one. It does have the shocks as well. These cars have more of a toy vibe, but some of the details you can get in stance you can get with race cars in the modern era are better, but they're still cool. Cadillac Alante. Cadillac has gone through many eras. This 80s and 90s era. What year was the Alante? It doesn't say here. There's a pink version I'll open up out of the blister here in a minute, but actually, there's going to be a part 4. I can already tell. But this is the silver one. There's a pink version, well, very with a very 80s vibe to it. This one is more factory in the gray, which I think is cool. Ugly era of Cadillacs for sure, but soft spot type vehicle, right? Actually, we should just dub these soft spot vehicles. The Cadillac Alante is one of them. Here's another one, kind of an interesting choice. This one goes back to, I think, this is Macau base, Ford Escort Cabriolet. This one goes back to its Lesney roots, right? Kind of hitting our friends in the UK, kind of hitting it right with this one. There's the Ford Escort. There's a few others that are like, well, I'll get to one right after this. In fact, this is the XR3i. Standard, pretty stock deco. One that I definitely wanted to add to the collection because it just makes a lot of sense. And it has just Matchbox vibes in general. You know, I started with these loose cars. I was doing the boxed ones, and I just forgot. So let's do both. Here's another one of the loose ones I bought. Now, this is not the 8 dots as I've been collecting them, but I had to get the RS200. This is more of an off-road wheel. It is still an 8 dot, but I think there's a different name for it. But it is definitely a sibling here. It's a sibling of the 8 dot, right? Is it not? It's just the more off-road version of it. And I mean, it's an RS200. It's one of the coolest cars ever. Very British, right? And Euro race car. And it looks cool with these off-road wheels. So this is the blue version. Pirelli Deco, Ford Racing, you know, another one that, well, we have seen as a Hot Wheels. And it's very nice. But this one's just as good. I mean, it really is. I mean, there's a little more detail. But this one is one. And then, where is the other one? There it is, right here. One of the other ones I bought in the box. And it's kind of a cool reversed version of the blue. So this one is white with blue. In fact, those look awesome together. Let's put it on the turntable. The white version. You might be asking, do these kind of wear a little bit in the boxes, those that were in the boxes and not in the blisters? Yeah, you'll see it with one of the ones I'm going to open here in a second. They do. They get a little worn. And yeah, they just do. But this one doesn't look to have too much damage to it. One thing, I know that some of the cars, especially when you're buying them kind of sight unseen on eBay, they get beat up. Sometimes you get them in the blister. That's what I've done. But even then, you'll find damage to them, or you'll find something. It just was a little bit of a rougher process back in the day. The paint's good. I'm actually going to put these down here. I've been giving you kind of a poor background. So why not show you the models that we've been showcasing already? Just seems to make more sense, right? We just go on the fly here, right? Why redo it? There's some of the cars that we've been showcasing. I'll get this like that. Let's finish off with the boxed models, and then we'll move on. Mercedes-Benz 300E. There's actually 2 versions. Well, I mean, there's several versions of this casting, but this is one I had to have. I've got several Mercedes, as you can see, since I've moved away from the background. But this is one that I wanted. Opening parts on this one. Opening door. Some of these have details in the opening part. Let's see if I can get it in focus. Yeah, look at that. Looks like there might be a number code on it too, or is that a detail in the door? I'm not totally sure. These were nice. There's also, here, I'll show you. Let's see if I've got it here. Thought I saw it. Yeah. Here's one that I'm going to open later. Oops. Hey, I dropped something. That's what I do. I don't know which is earlier, but notice how this one has the emblem on the grill. I wonder if it was just something that broke off, so they changed it. There's really no way to date these. Maybe some of the experts can. Well, when we open this one, we'll check it out. All right, so that's the Mercedes. I really wanted that in the collection. In fact, I have a little Mercedes slot here, so I'll put that right there. And then the last one that I bought from that seller with the box models that was talking about the hobby shop that Steve McQueen was visiting. How cool was that story? Here is the MR2. See, there's some wear on there. Like right there in the roof around the sunroof. You notice that? And I think that's definitely related to the box. You can always see there's some blemishes in the metal. That's kind of to be expected. Some are in better condition than others. It's probably how you would... I'd probably be like how someone would rate like vintage baseball cards. Like you might occasionally find a rated 10, but most of them are going to be a lot lower than that. And this doesn't bother me at all. All things considered, this is a really cool model. And obviously the MR2 that we're seeing today from Matchbox is based on this casting too. I mean, it's the same car, not necessarily based on it, but that's a really nice one. That is the MR2 pace car. Other loose cars that I've acquired. How about a Corvette? Loved this era of Corvette. Had to pick this one up from Level M's room. Some blemishes on that a little bit too, but I think this one really, you can see that, yeah, this one really emphasizes the shocks, which is kind of nice. Dig that Corvette in yellow. There's a red version I think I'm after. Once I find it, I'll get it. It might have been in that room and I just didn't pick it up. Probably should have. So there is that yellow Corvette. I need a little red Corvette. And then these, I think actually, I don't know if I might have picked up one in the room, but I think I already had them. This is the Jag. I think I had already picked this one up. This one might actually be an eBay purchase. Maybe not. Jaguar XJ6. No, actually, I think I did buy it in his room. Opening doors here, but actually here. Right-hand drive. Details in the door as well. It's a Jag. It's British. Should have right-hand drive. I just love the way the doors have that kind of... You don't see that even with the new ones now. They don't have as much of that. Just kind of... They kind of pop right in. It's just so nice. Just so nice. So this is the Jag. Another one that Matchbox has revisited in the basic range in the last year, right? So pretty much similar. Obviously, this one has... I think that's a metal chassis. Kind of hard to tell, but it does look really, really good. And then here's one that I hear questions about. I actually had one and bought one. I kind of lost track that I had already bought one, but I got this one at Level M's, one of them. Yeah, this one with the sticker. This is the Rolls-Royce. Is it the Silver Spirit? Yeah, Silver Spirit. And Matchbox is doing a few Rolls-Royces. Rolls-Royce just does not seem too interested in licensing with toy companies right now. There's just very few, if any, 164 Rolls-Royce that at least are licensed, right? I would imagine if Mattel could get Rolls-Royce licensed, they would do it. But they used to make them, and this is one that I really like. There's a couple other colors that I definitely want to add to the collection. But if you want a Rolls-Royce... in diecast, you can go back to this era and pick it up. In fact, I have two. Maybe one day I'll do a sale and get rid of one of them because I accidentally bought two. Let me move back just a little bit. Well, here's the carded models I've got. And not only do I have these carded models, and we'll do a part 2 because I just think it makes more sense. But I think it's time that I open these showstoppers that I keep kind of flirting with. Maybe to open the carded ones, I'll do some different setups. But these are the small emblem Ferraris from the Showstopper series. They're different. See, the Testarossa here has this large Ferrari logo on the hood. These are the small ones. The Testarossa and the F40. We'll open that one. I'll open this, another Jag, two Jags, XJ220 and the XJ6 that I've got to open up, and then the Grail piece that I bought from the 8-dot collection for me is that 600 SEL in gold. It's nice to have a 500 SL too, but it's that 600 that I'm really happy to have in this Motor Show set. They called it Motor Show and then they changed it to Showstoppers. But we'll kind of deal with these a little bit too. Maybe I'll figure out a different setup to open these up too, but I'm really excited to open up the gold. And then I'm also going to discover some of the extras, and I'll probably put them up on Whatnot at some point. So, because space. I need space. All right, guys. that is part 3. Part 4 will be opening a bunch of blisters and loosening these, or opening these cars and freeing them from their plastic prison for the first time ever. And I mean, how long are we talking? What year? 1986. Almost 40 years. Almost 40 years, and we're going to open these up. All right, guys. Tell me which ones you like. I'm just going to keep adding this collection. Thanks, everybody. Bye.